course, there are growing calls for a full explanation from the president, even before those investigations have been concluded. Other people are calling for him to step aside while the matter is probed. Also, we know that the African Transformation Movement, a political party, has approached the public protector to probe the matter as well. So let's speak to the Office of the Public Protector, spokesperson for that office, Oupa Segalwe. And thank you very much for your time and for waiting while we took that speech live from Chief Justice Zondo. Could you tell us exactly what the public protector is doing in regard to this probe of the theft of money from the farm and the alleged cover-up? Who's she approached? Who's she spoken to? What's her plan?
Thank you, Sally. First and foremost, we must clarify that the investigation is not on the theft of monies or the alleged theft of monies at the farm. The public protector has been approached by the African Transformation Movement, the ATM, which is a political party in Parliament, in terms of the Executive Members Ethics Act. Now, you would know that the public protector has got powers under that law to enforce the Executive Code of Ethics. The ATM, therefore, is alleging that in whatever happened or whatever is alleged to have happened on that farm, the president may have conducted himself in a manner that is inconsistent with the office that he occupies. And that is one of the standards that members of the executive ought to uphold in terms of the Executive Code of Ethics. They do not stop there. They further allege that the president may have breached the Code of Ethics in that he may have been taking other paid work outside of his remuneration as a member of the executive. They further claim that he may have placed himself in a situation where there is a conflict between his official duties and his private affairs. And that is where the public protector's investigation will focus. It will not duplicate what the police may be doing or any other investigative authority may be doing. Ours is to deal with the Executive Code of Ethics.
Isn't Parliament itself also probing the matter? Just clear that up for me.
I'm not aware if Parliament is doing anything with regard to that particular matter. All I know is that in terms of the Executive Members Ethics Act, only the Public Protector can enforce the Ethics Code whenever there is a complaint of a breach by any member of the executive. So I'm not privy to what Parliament is doing in that regard.
Talk to me about how the public protector plans to approach this. I understand she wants to speak to the president herself, but could you tell us how she's going to get to the bottom of her mandate, which, as you say, just relates to these three concerns raised by the ATM around the Executive Ethics Code?
I'm sorry, Sally, I had lost you there for a moment.
Oh, yes, I
didn't get the rest of...
No problem. I just wanted to know exactly how she's going to approach the specific mandate, who she's planning to speak to, a little bit more about how she's actually going to get to the bottom of this particular clause.
Well, in terms of how the public protector investigates, it's a pretty much a standard process. We look at what happened, and then that is a factual account of who did what when, and so forth. And then we look at what should have happened, which are the standards that ought to have been upheld. And in this case, it is those that are to be found in the Executive Code of Ethics. And then ideally, what should happen, what happened and what should happen, when you marry the two standards together, ideally, there shouldn't be any discrepancy. But where there is a discrepancy, it will then point to a possible breach of the ethics code, and that's the approach that we are taking. But in terms of the sources of information and the people that the public protector will be talking to or requesting information from, first and foremost, she has requested the president. A letter went out to the president sometime earlier today, where she seeks a response to a number of questions which stem from the allegations that have been leveled against the president. She will also speak to the police. She will also speak to Parliament and the deeds office, among others. And there are more people that she may approach as the investigation continues.
A few days ago, UDM leader Bantu Holomisa, he was the first to come out and say the president should step aside while this matter is probed, and he called on Parliament to investigate. I'm not sure of the details of how Parliament specifically would probe this matter, but if that were the case, would this probe fall away from the public protector?
Not quite, because the public protector is an investigative body. That's what the institution was created for. Parliament, on the other hand, has got another role, but it can still investigate matters. But a distinction must be drawn between investigations by Parliament and those by the public protector, because the public protector has got extensive investigative powers, powers to subpoena information, power to subpoena witnesses to appear before the public protector. And we know that once the public protector has made adverse findings against any person and it takes appropriate remedial action, that remedial action is binding. In other words, it's something akin to a court order. Parliament doesn't have those powers. I think we have previously seen instances in the past where Parliament investigated something, but an investigation by the public protector on the same issue arrived at a different conclusion.
Mr. Segalwe, how can you assure the public, or can you assure the public, that her investigation is going to be done in the interests of the public and not with an axe to grind against the president? We know that the president has asked her to furnish reasons why she shouldn't be suspended, while Parliament looks at the issue of impeachment against her. Perhaps one could make the argument that she's not the right person to make this probe, pretty much as she's made an argument that he's not the person to consider her suspension because he might be biased.
Well, the public protector, as you would know, does not run a one-woman show. There is a team of investigators within the office who are independent, who are impartial, who are experienced and devoted to their work. In fact, this very investigation has been assigned to two senior investigators. One is senior investigator and one chief investigator, who are very experienced and are carrying out this work on behalf of the office. So questions of independence and impartiality do not arise. In any event, our law in South Africa provides for a situation where anyone who is unhappy with the outcome of the public protector's investigation has recourse, in a sense that they can approach the High Court with an application for review to have the reports set aside. So there are those checks and balances. Sure. But the public protector as an institution is, in terms of the Constitution, independent and impartial, and it should do its work without fear, favour or prejudice.
All right, thank you very much for your time this evening, spokesperson for the Office of the Public Protector, Oupa Segalwe.